Beloved, wherever you are tuning in from right now, whether it's morning, noon, or night, hear me clearly. This moment is not an accident. You have been summoned by the Spirit of the living God. Heaven has strategically aligned your steps so you could hear this before the 25th of November. Congratulations. Because when God chooses you to hear something early, it means he is preparing to move you ahead of time. He is shifting you into a divine timetable that others will only recognize after the manifestation takes place. There are moments in your life when God interrupts the usual flow of things to give you a prophetic alert, a spiritual notification that heaven is about to release something into your life. And I declare over you right now, you are standing at the threshold of one of those moments. This is not a casual broadcast. This is not a random encounter. This is a divine appointment. This lift, this other. God saw your battles, your delays, your silent tears, your hidden warfare, your midnight wrestlings. And he said, before the 25th of November arrives, my child must hear my voice. Because when God speaks ahead of time, he is preparing you to step ahead of the enemy, ahead of old cycles, ahead of every plot, plan, and scheme that was designed to sabotage your destiny. Heaven is releasing information that will put you in position, granting you spiritual clearance to enter a season others are not yet qualified for. You're not late, you're early. You're not behind, you're ahead. You're not forgotten. You've been handpicked, set apart, and marked for an encounter that carries the capacity to shift your entire trajectory. Congratulations, because the fact that you are hearing this means you survived things that should have broken you. You outlasted storms that were meant to drown you. You endured fires that were designed to consume you. But instead of burning, you're emerging purified, fortified, and positioned for divine elevation. Heaven has looked in your direction, and God has chosen you to receive this word before the 25th of November, because something is about to explode in your life. Something heaven has scheduled that hell cannot stop. Get ready, because today we are not praying average prayers. We are praying destiny, activating, cycle-breaking, atmosphere-shifting prayers. We are releasing decrees that will realign your life, your family, your finances, and your future. You're stepping into a window of prophetic timing where what was withheld will be restored, what was delayed will be accelerated, and what was impossible will suddenly be made possible. Congratulations, because you're about to hear what heaven has written concerning you. There's a moment in your life when God interrupts the ordinary rhythm of your days to whisper something that carries the weight of destiny. This is one of those moments. When God chooses someone to hear a specific word ahead of time, it is never casual, never coincidental, never random. It is a sign of divine orchestration, heavenly timing, and supernatural intention. You are not here by accident. You have been divinely selected, handpicked by God to receive something that others will only discern later. Before the 25th of November arrives, God is positioning you, aligning you, preparing you for a spiritual shift that requires advance notice, because what is coming carries too much weight for you to walk into it unprepared. There are times when God accelerates revelation because he intends to accelerate your life. He releases insight ahead of time because he is about to release breakthrough ahead of schedule. When heaven releases an early word, it means that something in the unseen realm has already begun to move on your behalf. God gives early access to those he trusts, those he has marked, those he is getting ready to elevate into a season that demands preparation. And if you are hearing this now, it means heaven has you on its priority list. Your name has been spoken in the courts of glory, and the timing of your next level has been activated. Before every major shift in Scripture, God warned, revealed, instructed, or whispered to his chosen ones ahead of time. Noah heard about the rain before it came. Joseph saw the famine before it arrived. Daniel discerned the interpretation before the king spoke the dream. Mary received the angelic announcement before she carried destiny in her womb. When God unveils something early, it means the person receiving the revelation has a role to play, a responsibility to fulfill, a position to take. God is positioning you strategically because the shift coming after the 25th of November is not something you will stumble into. It is something you will step into with clarity, authority, and readiness. You are being positioned not only spiritually, but mentally, emotionally, and even relationally. There are alignments God is preparing, connections He is resetting, distractions He is clearing, and protections He is establishing around you. When God positions someone, He doesn't just move them, He fortifies them, He establishes them, He shields them, and He sets them in place the way a master builder places a cornerstone, with precision and purpose. In this moment, you are being repositioned for what is about to unfold. You are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are at the center of divine strategy. This early message is also a sign that heaven has shifted the conversation about you. Things that were once delayed are now being accelerated. Places where you felt stagnant are now being stirred. The ground beneath you is moving because the season ahead of you is changing. Some doors that were closed are being unlocked. Some prayers that seemed unanswered are being revisited. Some promises you thought were dormant are waking up again because the timing connected to them has shifted. God is preparing you not only to walk into what He has promised, but to walk into it with the right posture, the right strength, and the right mindset. To be chosen to hear something early means God trusts you with revelation, and revelation always comes with responsibility. Heaven does not waste divine intelligence. God does not reveal what He is not ready to perform, and He does not perform what you are not prepared to receive. This is why He is speaking to you before the 25th of November, so you do not walk into the next season unaware, unequipped, or uncertain. He is giving you time to align your spirit, sharpen your discernment, quiet your environment, and elevate your faith. Because the magnitude of what is coming requires your participation. You are not a spectator in this shift. You are a vessel through which God will manifest His intention. This divine selection is also a sign that you are favored. Favor is not just blessing. Favor is access. Favor is timing. Favor is hearing what others cannot hear yet, seeing what others will only understand later. Favor is being brought into spiritual rooms before the door opens physically. Favor is insight before impact. God is giving you a head start, a spiritual advantage point, because the next chapter of your life carries influence, authority, and visibility you will need to be prepared for. Heaven is not just speaking to you, heaven is preparing to reveal you. Being chosen ahead of time also means God sees something in you that others may have overlooked. He sees resilience in you that you may not have credited yourself for. He sees faith in you that you may not realize has grown. He sees endurance, purity of heart, consistency, integrity, and the ability to carry weight without breaking. God does not position fragile vessels for heavy assignments. If He is positioning you early, it means He has already tested you in secret, watched your faithfulness in silence, examined your loyalty in hidden battles, and now deems you trustworthy for what comes next. Before the 25th of November, God intends to shift something in your atmosphere, your relationships, your finances, your spiritual sight, or your internal identity. And this shift requires advance notice because you must step into it consciously, not accidentally. You must partner with what God is doing, not react to it. Early revelation is an invitation to alignment, and alignment precedes acceleration. As you hear this word, something inside you is being tuned, adjusted, calibrated to heaven's frequency, so you will recognize the move. of God when it arrives. Even now, spiritually, there is a stirring, a quickening, a pulling that indicates heaven is making preparation for you. This is not just God positioning you, it is God ushering you into divine timing. Timing is everything in the kingdom. A blessing outside of timing is a burden. A door outside of timing is a distraction. But when God positions you at the right time, nothing can block, delay, or sabotage what He has ordained. This is why He is speaking before the 25th, because the blessing connected to that time requires precision. Heaven is synchronizing your steps with the season that is approaching, ensuring that nothing in you is misaligned when the shift takes place. You have been chosen for this moment, and the fact that you are hearing this ahead of time is proof that heaven is moving your name to the front of the line, placing your destiny on the agenda, and preparing you for a shift that will make sense only when it manifests. There are seasons when God pulls you into a dimension of revelation that others are not yet permitted to enter. When God reveals something to you before others can see it, it means He is giving you a spiritual advantage, a divine head start that positions you beyond the reach of the enemy and ahead of the patterns that once held you back. This is not simply insight. This is spiritual elevation. God is allowing you to see what others cannot perceive yet, because what He is about to do in your life requires awareness, preparation, and discernment. When heaven entrusts you with revelation ahead of time, it means heaven is preparing to do something uncommon with you. It means you are being trained, positioned, and awakened for a move that others will only understand in hindsight. There are mysteries God reveals to those who walk closely with Him, and you are being brought into the secret place where instructions are whispered, strategies are imparted, and warnings are released. God is not only showing you what is coming, He is protecting you from what was trying to repeat itself. Some cycles were preparing to reappear, wearing new disguises, but carrying old intentions. But the revelation arriving to you now is breaking their power. When God reveals, He rescues. When He exposes, He prevents. When He illuminates, He empowers. He is placing you ahead of the old cycles that used to sabotage you. Cycles of doubt, cycles of delay, cycles of distraction, cycles of emotional instability, cycles of wrong connections and unhealthy decisions. What once trapped you will no longer have that power, because you now have sight where you once had blindness. Revelation is not just information, it is elevation. And when God elevates you through revelation, He brings you into a vantage point where you can see the enemy's plan before it unfolds. You begin to discern the traps that were tailored to your weaknesses, the distractions aimed at your focus, and the assignments designed to pull you out of alignment. But now, because you have been revealed and awakened, those traps lose their power. What once ensnared you will be exposed before you step into it. What once tricked you will now be discerned. What once delayed you will now be identified as an obstruction. God is placing you ahead, not just to bless you, but to protect you from returning to old patterns that never suited the version of you He is raising up. When God reveals something ahead of time, it is also a sign that your promise is closer than it appears. Delayed promises sometimes create the illusion that God has forgotten, but in truth, delayed does not mean denied. Delayed often means protected, preserved, or being prepared for the appointed time. God is revealing now because the appointed time is drawing near. There were promises spoken over your life, prayers you have forgotten, but heaven has not. Desires buried under disappointment, dreams tucked away because life grew heavy. But just because you placed them aside does not mean God did. Heaven kept them alive, and now God is breathing on them again. The revelation you are receiving is a sign that the promise is waking up, accelerating, moving toward manifestation. Others may not understand what you are sensing, seeing, or perceiving in this season, because revelation always arrives before manifestation. People only understand once they see the evidence, but God speaks to you when the evidence is still invisible. That is why you must not be moved by the opinions of others. They cannot comprehend a revelation that was not assigned to them. They cannot interpret a vision they were not given. They cannot understand a shift they were not positioned for. God is speaking to you because the next phase is personal. It is tied to your assignment, your calling, your development, your growth. The revelation is tailored for you, not for them. This revelation is also a sign of spiritual maturity. God does not speak deeply to those who refuse to listen. He does not reveal secrets to those who resist his direction. But you have reached a point where your faithfulness, your battles, your tears, your persistence, and your hunger have created spiritual capacity. God speaks ahead to those who have learned to trust him in the dark, to those who obey even when it costs something, to those who stand firm even when circumstances shake. You are being entrusted with what others will learn later because you have proven that you can be trusted with insight, direction, and instruction. Revelation is preparation, and you are being prepared for a new season where clarity will matter more than comfort. You are stepping into a time when discernment will be your shield, sensitivity your steering, and spiritual awareness your strength. God is unveiling things not to overwhelm you, but to ready you. He is giving you foresight so you don't step into pitfalls masked as opportunities. He is warning you so you don't entertain counterfeits that mimic blessings. He is speaking early so you do not mislabel distractions as destiny. You are being trained to see from the realm of the Spirit where timing, intention, and alignment matter more than appearances. The hidden traps that were secretly assigned to your future path are now being dismantled because God is exposing them before you reach them. You will not fall into what others fall into. You will not repeat what others repeat. You will not be ensnared by what ensnares the unprepared. God is not only revealing, he is redirecting. You are being shifted away from the environments that drain you, the relationships that diminish you, the opportunities that mislead you, and the habits that weaken you. He is pulling you out of cycles because cycles cannot contain your calling. Cycles keep you busy but not productive, active but not advancing, moving but not progressing. But revelation breaks cycles by exposing what you once tolerated out of ignorance. God is placing you ahead so that you can walk into the fullness of what he has ordained without the weight of past failures, the confusion of past seasons, or the fear bred by past wounds. You are being positioned ahead of every trap meant to delay your promise and every obstacle designed to exhaust your strength. Heaven is clearing your path, lifting your vision, sharpening your spirit, and aligning your steps. God is revealing because he is accelerating. He is revealing because he is releasing. He is revealing because your time has come to rise above what used to limit you. You are moving into a season where your understanding will catch up with your revelation, where what God told you privately will begin manifesting publicly, and where the things that once confused you will suddenly make sense. Others will look back and say they see it now, but you will know that God showed you long before the evidence arrived, long before the shift was visible, long before the promise emerged. And that is because God placed you ahead, giving you revelation meant to carry you out of old cycles and into new promises. There are moments when God interrupts your normal routine, your daily rhythm, your familiar surroundings, simply to let you know that the clock of heaven has struck a new hour concerning you. Hearing this message now is not casual. It is a spiritual indicator, a prophetic sign that something in the unseen realm has shifted. When heaven authorizes a new season, the first thing God does is send a word. Before manifestation comes revelation. Before breakthrough comes announcement. Before intervention comes instruction. The fact that this word has found you before the moment you expected it, before the circumstances around you have changed, is proof that something has already changed in the realm of the spirit. Heaven is signaling that your season of acceleration has begun. Acceleration is not simply movement. It is movement with supernatural force. It is God taking what should have taken years and compressing it into months, what should have taken months and compressing it into days, and what should have taken days and compressing it into moments. Acceleration does not follow natural laws. It follows divine timing. When heaven authorizes acceleration, obstacles that once stood immovable begin to crumble, doors that were stubborn begin to open, and resistance that once felt overwhelming begins to weaken. You are stepping into a time where God himself becomes your momentum, where what you could not push forward begins to push itself forward by divine backing. Hearing this word now means God is preparing to accelerate your life, your purpose, your progress, your healing, your finances, and even your spiritual maturity. Breakthrough is also embedded within this timing. Breakthrough means breaking into something new, breaking out of something old, and breaking away from something that has overstayed its season. Breakthrough is not random. It is authorized. It is heaven deciding that enough is enough, that your struggle has served its purpose, that your wilderness has fulfilled its function. When God authorizes breakthrough, he does not consult your past. He consults his intention. He does not measure your worthiness. He measures his promise. He does not look at your limitations. He looks at his covenant. The fact that you are hearing this now means breakthrough is no longer pending. It is active, alive, moving toward you with unstoppable force. Divine intervention means God is stepping into places where your strength was not enough, where your resources were insufficient, where your understanding reached its limit. Intervention is heaven saying, stand back and watch me work. It is God inserting himself into situations that were too complicated, too heavy, too tangled for you to navigate alone. Intervention does not mean you failed. It means you are loved. It means God refuses to let you carry battles that belong to him. Hearing this message now means God is intervening behind the scenes, touching hearts, shifting circumstances, exposing wrong motives, aligning opportunities, and clearing paths that were once obstructed. He is moving for you in places you cannot see, and the results will appear suddenly as if out of nowhere. When heaven authorizes a new season, there is often no warning in the natural. People around you may not see it, your situation may not reflect it, your feelings may not feel it, but your spirit recognizes it. Something inside you becomes awakened, sensitive, alert. You begin to feel an inner stirring, a sense that change is not coming. It has already begun. Hearing this word is confirmation of that stirring. It is God validating what your spirit already knew, but your mind had not yet articulated. The timing of this message is divine because heaven speaks at the moment things shift in the spirit, not when the evidence becomes visible on earth. This kind of timing is a gift. Not everyone hears the signal when heaven shifts. Not everyone senses the change in season. Some people move blindly, unaware of the divine momentum surrounding them. But the fact that you are hearing this now means God is giving you awareness so you can agree with what he is doing, align with what he is unfolding, and anticipate what he is releasing. Awareness creates readiness. Readiness creates participation. Participation creates breakthrough. You are not meant to watch this season unfold passively. You are meant to enter it actively, with expectation, with boldness, with faith sharpened, and heart awakened. Acceleration also means recovery. Time you thought was lost will be restored. Opportunities that seemed gone will reemerge in better form. Relationships that were broken may be healed or replaced with something healthier. Energy you lost through warfare will be replenished. Strength you poured out in battles will be renewed. Acceleration does not just push you forward, it pulls back everything that was stolen, delayed, or buried. Hearing this now means restoration has been authorized and nothing hell attempted to steal will remain missing. You will recover mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, and relationally. Breakthrough also means the end of resistance. The enemy can resist you only until heaven issues a decree. Once God declares a new season, the enemy cannot prolong the one you were in. No opposition can override divine timing. No delay tactic can cancel a heavenly order. No spiritual attack can withstand a shift authorized by God. When breakthrough is commanded, the warfare breaks, the pressure lifts, the confusion clears, and the environment around you begins to rearrange itself. Everything that once resisted you begins to yield. Everything that once opposed you begins to bow. Everything that once hindered you begins to release its grip. Intervention means God is not asking you to fight this next battle alone. He is stepping into the courtroom, stepping into the conversation, stepping into the negotiation, stepping into the sickness, stepping into the decision, stepping into the future, stepping into the unknown. Intervention means you will see results that exceed your effort. You will witness outcomes that you did not engineer. You will receive answers that you did not manipulate. You will experience victories that do not make sense based on your resources, but make perfect sense based on God's involvement. Hearing this now also means heaven has accelerated your timeline. The season you are entering will not follow the pace of your past. Things that were slow will become swift. Things that were complicated will become simple. Things that were blocked will become accessible. Things that were confusing will become clear. Things that were stagnant will begin to move again. This is not ordinary time. This is appointed time. Appointed time does not operate according to calendars, but according to heaven's schedule. The reason God is telling you this ahead of manifestation is because he wants your faith to rise to the level of what he is releasing. Faith is the entry point of divine intervention. Faith is the fuel of acceleration. Faith is the door to breakthrough. God is not asking you to manufacture faith. He is giving you revelation that builds faith. This message is part of the preparation, part of the equipping, part of the activation. Heaven is pulling you into alignment with a divine move that has already begun. You are hearing this now because heaven has opened the chapter that belongs to breakthrough, acceleration, and intervention in your life. Things may not look different yet, but they will. Life may feel familiar, but it will shift. Circumstances may appear unchanged, but they are already bending under the weight of God's intention. This word is your sign that the new season is not coming. It has already been authorized. There are seasons in life when the battles you survived were not just struggles. They were indicators of divine selection. Your survival alone is proof that heaven has invested something in you that hell could not destroy. Every time life tried to take you out, through disappointment, betrayal, confusion, loss, delays, or spiritual warfare, something in you refused to quit. Something in you kept fighting, kept praying, kept hoping, kept believing. That something is the signature of God on your life. That resilience is the mark of someone chosen. The fact that you're still standing, still listening, still reaching for God, still pushing through, is evidence that heaven has been guarding your destiny, even in the moments when you felt forgotten. Your journey has not been random. It has been a training ground. The hardships shaped you. The pressure refined you. The darkness taught you how to see the light. The delays taught you endurance. The silence taught you discernment. The pain taught you purpose. And all of it has been preparing you for a season of supernatural elevation. Elevation does not come to the fragile, it comes to the forged. It comes to those who have been processed, stretched, tested, and refined. Heaven does not elevate those who avoid battles. Heaven elevates those who survive them. Your resilience has been the qualification for what God is about to release over your life. Your faith is what carried you when strength failed. It was your faith that whispered, just hold on a little longer when everything around you was telling you to give up. Faith kept you walking when nothing made sense. Faith kept you believing when the evidence contradicted the promise. Faith kept your heart tender when disappointment tried to harden it. God saw that faith, heaven recorded that faith, and now heaven is responding to that faith. This word you are hearing is not just encouragement. It is confirmation. It is God acknowledging the journey you've walked, the battles you've endured, the storms you've survived, and declaring that the next chapter has already begun unfolding behind the scenes. Supernatural elevation does not begin with visibility. It begins with preparation. Before God elevates you publicly, he strengthens you privately. Before he reveals you to others, he reveals things to you. Before he opens doors, he fortifies your foundation. Every situation that tried to break you actually built something in you. Every loss increased your spiritual weight. Every challenge sharpened your discernment. Every trial developed your authority. You did not just survive, you grew, you matured, you were transformed, and now that transformation has positioned you for movement you don't have to manufacture. God himself is elevating you, not because of your comfort, but because of your capacity. You have become someone he can trust with influence, responsibility, and breakthrough. Supernatural elevation means God is lifting you to places your past tried to convince you were unreachable. It means he is shifting you into opportunities that others thought you were not qualified for. It means he is positioning you in rooms where your voice will matter, your presence will carry weight, and your purpose will be activated. Elevation is not about fame. It is about function. It is about stepping into the version of yourself that God always intended. More important, it is about walking in authority, clarity, and purpose that the earlier version of you could not hold. You have been stretched into someone who can handle what is coming. This word is also the sign that your next chapter is already unfolding, even if you cannot see it yet. God begins chapters in the invisible realm before they manifest in the visible one. He shifts timelines, rewrites stories, closes doors, opens spiritual pathways, and rearranges destinies long before you step into the evidence. You may feel like life looks the same, but the spiritual atmosphere around you has already changed. Things are aligning in your favor. People are being moved around. Opportunities are being prepared. Obstacles are being dismantled. Paths are being made straight. You are not waiting for the next chapter. You are walking into what heaven has already written. Your next chapter is not reactive. It is strategic. It is not based on who left you, what hurt you, or what you lost. It is based on who you have become and who God is calling you to be. Your wounds did not disqualify you. They deepened you. Your mistakes did not derail you. They redirected you. Your delays did not deny you. They prepared you. And now everything you endured is about to serve your elevation. The next chapter of your life is not built on the ashes of what fell apart, but on the strength of what survived the fire. Your resilience is evidence that you carry a destiny bigger than the warfare you faced. The enemy fought you so intensely because of the magnitude of what is attached to your life. The pressure was great because your influence will be greater. The attacks were fierce because your assignment is fierce. The pain was deep because your impact will be deep. Heaven is elevating you not just because you survived, but because you survived without losing your heart, your calling, or your faith. You came out wiser, stronger, clearer, purer, and more spiritually aligned. Supernatural elevation also means God is about to do for you what you could not do for yourself. He is about to open doors that your effort could not unlock. He is about to bring opportunities that your connections could not produce. He is about to send resources that your current situation could not access. He is about to orchestrate encounters that your planning could not arrange. When God elevates, nothing and no one can stop it. What is meant for you will reach you. What is destined for you will find you. What is written for you will manifest for you. You hearing this message now means the elevation has already started. You may not feel elevated, but elevation starts in the spirit before it manifests in the natural. You may not see the details, but heaven has already activated the process. It may appear small now, but seeds always appear small before they grow. Your next chapter is unfolding quietly, silently, divinely, and suddenly it will break into your reality in ways that astonish you and everyone connected to you. Your survival was not accidental. Your resilience was not weakness. Your faith was not wasted. Every moment of endurance has been a stepping stone to the season you are entering. And this word is heaven's confirmation that what you have walked through has been preparing you for a supernatural elevation that nothing and no one can hinder. Beloved, I came to tell you, this is not a coincidence. You didn't stumble on this message by accident. The Spirit of the living God orchestrated your steps, arranged your timing, and positioned you in this exact moment because He has chosen you. Heaven has taken notice of your obedience, of your endurance, and of the tears you thought no one saw. The angels have been dispatched, and the prophetic clock of destiny is striking in your favor. Before November 15th, a divine alignment is about to take place. The season you've been waiting for is no longer on the horizon. It's here. God is shifting atmospheres, rearranging circumstances, and unlocking doors that were once sealed shut. This is not just another day. This is a kairos moment, a supernatural intersection where heaven meets earth and your name is being announced in the courts of glory. The battles you've faced were never meant to break you, but to brand you with a mark of divine approval. You were refined in the fire so that your faith could speak louder than your fear. You were hidden for a season so that your unveiling could come at the appointed time. And I decree and declare that time is now. Congratulations. You've been chosen to carry the mantle of favor into a new dimension. You've been selected as a vessel of breakthrough. The things that have resisted you are now releasing you. Every delay is turning into divine acceleration. Every rejection is becoming redirection. Every closed door is giving way to the open gate of your next level. Lift your head high, because this is your confirmation. The Lord says, before November 15, I will show myself strong on your behalf. This message is the sound of your new beginning. This is your season of divine recognition, of supernatural promotion, and of irreversible victory. So I challenge you, get ready. Get your spirit aligned. Lift your voice in praise because heaven is responding to your faith. You've been marked by grace, chosen by purpose, and appointed for greatness. This is your moment to rise, to reign, and to receive everything God has prepared for you from the foundation of the world. Because when God chooses you, no one can unchoose you. When God selects you, it's not a random act of grace. It is a divine decision established before the foundations of the world were laid. Divine selection precedes human recognition, and when heaven has placed its mark upon you, there is nothing that can erase what God has ordained. Many have questioned your journey, misunderstood your process, and even doubted your calling. But what they fail to understand is that divine selection is not validated by public applause. It is confirmed in the secret chambers of eternity where God Himself declares, I have chosen you. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, God already assigned you a purpose. Before a single person saw your potential, heaven already endorsed you. You were approved in the spirit long before you were accepted in the natural. There is something about divine election that confuses those who only see through the eyes of flesh. They can't comprehend why favor follows you, why doors open for you, or why despite every setback you keep rising again. But it's because divine selection cannot be revoked by human opinion. When heaven marks you, earth has no choice but to eventually recognize what God has already decided. You may be overlooked by men, but you are never overlooked by God. You may have been rejected by systems, but divine favor overrides rejection. Every no spoken against you becomes fuel for the greater yes that's waiting in your destiny. The reason you faced resistance is because the enemy recognized the oil that's on your life even before you did. He knew the potential that was hidden within you, and so he tried to discourage, delay, and distract you from realizing who you really are. But divine selection is irreversible. It cannot be altered, canceled, or postponed. What God has spoken concerning your life will surely come to pass, because his word cannot return void. The world may not have celebrated you yet, but heaven already has. You are chosen, not because of your perfection, but because of your purpose. You were not selected because you were the strongest, the most talented, or the most deserving by human standards. You were chosen because God saw something in you that could carry his glory to the nations. There is a grace that rests upon the chosen that cannot be explained. It is the kind of grace that preserves you in the midst of storms, that sustains you when others give up, that empowers you when everything around you seems to collapse. Divine selection means you are part of a heavenly agenda that transcends time and circumstance. God has been preparing you in obscurity, molding you in silence, refining you in silence, refining you in trials, and shaping your character through adversity. Every disappointment was a setup for divine alignment. Every betrayal was a classroom for discernment. Every delay was a divine pause to strengthen your endurance. You were not being punished, you were being prepared. The wilderness was not to destroy you, but to develop the weight of glory inside you. Because before human eyes can recognize the chosen, heaven must first refine them through the fires of process. The chosen are not crowned in comfort. They are forged in warfare. You had to face certain challenges so that you would emerge with authority. You had to endure certain losses so that you could carry empathy and wisdom for those who will one day follow your path. God's selection comes with divine training. And though it may seem lonely, it is producing the oil that will distinguish you in your generation. There are seasons where it feels like no one sees you, no one hears you, and no one understands you, but that is often the place where heaven is working most deeply. You have been hidden, but not forgotten, concealed, but not canceled. Hidden seasons are divine incubators where God matures your spirit before he manifests your assignment. And when the time of unveiling comes, human recognition will be the natural response to a supernatural appointment. Those who once ignored you will have to acknowledge the hand of God upon your life. Those who once questioned your worth will witness your anointing. Those who once underestimated you will be astonished at the elevation that follows divine timing. Because divine selection does not need permission, it only needs manifestation. After the Spirit of the Lord is saying, the waiting was not wasted. Every quiet moment, every unseen act of faith, every tear sown in secret has been recorded in heaven's archives. You are about to see the reward of your obedience. The season of being overlooked is ending. Heaven is calling your name to the forefront. Your assignment is being activated. When God chooses you, he equips you. When he equips you, he sustains you. And when he sustains you, he positions you in places no man could have opened. Your destiny is not dependent on popularity, but on divine partnership. You don't need everyone to understand your process. You just need to remain faithful to the one who ordained it. People may not know how to value what they can't define. They may misinterpret your calling because it doesn't fit their mold or match their timeline. But God specializes in using the unlikely, the underestimated, and the overlooked to demonstrate his glory. That's why he chose David from among his brothers, Esther from among her people, Joseph from among the rejected, and Mary from among the humble. Heaven has a pattern of exalting those who the world disregards. Your divine selection means your story carries divine purpose. It means every detour, every disappointment, every delay is being woven into a masterpiece that reveals God's sovereignty. It means that your current season, no matter how confusing it feels, is a stepping stone toward your manifestation. You are being elevated even if you don't see it yet. The oil on your life is beginning to flow, and the anointing that was dormant is now awakening. Divine selection precedes human recognition, which means heaven has already made the announcement. It's only a matter of time before earth catches up. So hold your ground, stay faithful, and remain steadfast. Keep walking in obedience even when no one is clapping. Keep believing even when the evidence hasn't appeared. Keep praying even when the answer seems delayed. Because the moment heaven decides a thing, it is settled. You are chosen for a reason, marked for a mission, and destined for divine manifestation. And though others may not yet recognize it, all of creation is waiting for the unveiling of what heaven has already confirmed. Heaven's timing is never late, never premature, and never uncertain. It moves with precision, aligned with the eternal calendar of God, orchestrating every detail of your life in divine sequence. While you may have been waiting, praying, and wondering when your breakthrough will come, heaven has already scheduled the moment of manifestation. Every prayer you've whispered, every seed you've sown, and every tear you've cried has been recorded in the archives of eternity, waiting for the appointed time. When God says the set time has come, nothing can stand in the way of your breakthrough. Heaven's timing is now activating your earthly release, and every delay that has frustrated you was in fact a divine preparation for acceleration. God has been positioning you behind the scenes, aligning people, places, and opportunities that will converge at the exact moment his clock strikes your favor. What feels like delay is often divine choreography. Heaven is aligning circumstances so that when your breakthrough arrives, it will be undeniable that it was God's doing. There are moments in life when you think you've been forgotten, when the silence feels unbearable. But silence does not mean inactivity. God is moving in the invisible realm, setting up divine appointments that will intersect with your obedience. He is orchestrating the impossible behind the veil of time. When heaven's timing activates, what took others years to achieve can happen for you in a day. The same God who turned Joseph's life around in one day from prisoner to ruler is the same God who can shift your entire destiny overnight. Heaven is not bound by the limitations of time, but it uses time to prove your faith, shape your character, and mature your spiritual vision. Every season you have endured has had purpose. The waiting season was not wasted. It was your training ground. God has been refining your discernment, purifying your motives, and preparing your heart for what he's about to release. Because when heaven releases the blessing, you must be ready to sustain it. Many desire promotion, but few understand the preparation that precedes it. Heaven's timing requires patience, and patience is the language of trust. You had to trust when you could not trace him, believe when you could not see him, and keep walking when nothing around you made sense. The stretching you felt was heaven enlarging your capacity to carry greater glory. The delay was not punishment, but protection. If you had received what you prayed for too early, it might have crushed you instead of blessing you. Heaven waited until your character caught up with your calling. Now the time has come where divine timing is meeting divine destiny. The things that once seemed stagnant are about to move. The doors that were shut are about to open. The promises that felt distant are being pulled into the now. You are standing at the threshold of divine acceleration, where years of labor are about to be rewarded in moments. Heaven's calendar has reached your name, and the season of waiting is being replaced by the season of manifestation. The angels assigned to your destiny have been released to clear the path before you. The same favor that elevated Esther before the king, the same grace that opened prison doors for Paul, the same power that raised Lazarus from the dead is now being activated in your life. When heaven's timing collides with your obedience, miracles happen. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. The natural yields to the supernatural. You've been faithful with little, and now God is ready to make you ruler over much. You've endured the hidden seasons, and now heaven is ready to reveal you to the world. Every prophetic word spoken over your life is being called into remembrance. The things you thought were over are being resurrected. The opportunities you thought you missed are circling back around. The favor you thought passed you by is returning with multiplied strength. Because when God's timing arrives, restoration is not partial, it's complete. Heaven not only restores what was lost, it redeems the time that was wasted. God is saying, I have heard you. I have seen your faithfulness. I have watched you persevere, and now I am aligning heaven's resources on your behalf. Before November 15, you will see signs of divine orchestration that confirm you are in your appointed season. Doors will open without struggle. People will appear as divine helpers. Resources will locate you. Circumstances will suddenly begin to make sense. Heaven's timing is bringing everything into divine order. What once seemed chaotic will begin to fall into place effortlessly because the winds of divine synchronization are blowing in your direction. Every detail is being coordinated by the hand of God to reveal his faithfulness. When heaven's timing activates, you don't have to force anything. You don't have to chase validation or manipulate outcomes. The same grace that chooses you will establish you. The same power that anoints you will elevate you. All you must do is stay in alignment. Stay sensitive and stay surrendered. The greatest posture you can have in this moment is readiness. Be ready to move when heaven opens the door. Be ready to speak when God gives you the platform. Be ready to receive when the harvest arrives. Because divine timing does not wait for hesitation, it responds to faith. You've been positioned for this very moment. Everything you've gone through was preparation for the fulfillment that's about to unfold. The heavens are shifting. The atmosphere is changing. The sound of release is echoing in the spirit realm. The prophetic clock is striking your name, and the heaven's resources are converging in your favor. What was delayed is being delivered. What was held up is being released. What was locked is being unlocked. You are stepping into a divine moment where heaven's agenda meets earth's manifestation. You will look back on this season and realize that every detour was divine direction. Every closed door was divine redirection, and every setback was divine set up. Heaven was never late. It was waiting for the perfect alignment, the moment when your preparation and your purpose would collide. And there is a divine synchronization taking place right now. The things that once resisted you are now cooperating with you. The people who once ignored you are now being compelled to bless you. The situations that once frustrated you are now turning in your favor. This is the moment where divine order begins to manifest in your reality. Heaven's clock has struck the hour of release, and you are stepping into a season where everything begins to make sense. The waiting, the warfare, the weeping, it all had purpose. You are entering the manifestation of what heaven already decreed, and nothing can stop what God has set in motion. Heaven's timing moves with divine precision. It does not operate according to human clocks or calendars. God's schedule unfolds in perfect sequence, orchestrated with wisdom that transcends understanding. While you may have been waiting, praying, and believing for your moment to arrive, heaven has already marked the hour of your release. The divine delay you have endured is not a denial, but a preparation. Every pause, every silent season, and every closed door was part of a supernatural alignment that is now culminating in breakthrough. When heaven's timing activates, it announces the end of striving and the beginning of manifestation. What once required effort now unfolds with ease because the set time of favor has come. In the corridors of eternity, your name has been spoken, your destiny decreed, and your release authorized. What has been incubating in the invisible realm is about to emerge in the visible. Heaven has been synchronizing circumstances, aligning people, and positioning opportunities that will intersect with your obedience. You have been processed for this precise moment. The tests you endured were never meant to break you, but to build you. The stretching was heaven, expanding your capacity to handle what is now being released. The silence was God's way of maturing your faith so that when the answer comes, you would recognize his hand without doubt. Heaven's timing carries the weight of divine order. It does not rush under pressure or panic under opposition. It waits for alignment. It waits for your character to catch up with your calling. It waits for your heart to be pure enough to handle promotion. When God's time comes, no enemy can delay it. No gate can block it, and no power can cancel it. The same God who lifted Joseph from a prison to a palace overnight is the same God who can shift your entire life in a single moment. The same spirit that elevated Esther before the king is the same spirit aligning you before divine opportunity. When heaven's timing meets your readiness, miracles happen without strain. Every closed door in the past season was protection, not punishment. Heaven refused to let you settle for less than what was written in your destiny. The rejection you felt was redirection toward the greater assignment God prepared for you. You were hidden so you could be revealed at the appointed time. And now the appointed time is approaching. The moment when what was unseen will be unveiled, when what was delayed will be delivered. Heaven's calendar has turned in your favor. Before November 15, divine currents are shifting. What was stagnant begins to move. What was blocked begins to open. What was lost begins to return, multiplied. The waiting season taught you dependence on God. It stripped away false supports and shallow faith so that your roots could go deeper into his presence. Now, those deep roots will sustain you when acceleration comes. You have been faithful with little, and heaven is about to make you ruler over much. The time you spent in prayer was not wasted. It was investment. The words you spoke in faith are now bearing fruit. The promises you held on to are manifesting because the appointed season has arrived. Heaven is declaring, now is the time. You will see evidence of divine orchestration. People will appear at the right time. Opportunities will present themselves without your pursuit, and doors will open without your knocking. Heaven's timing activates ease because it carries grace. The same spirit that moved upon Mary and brought forth a Savior without human striving is the same spirit brooding over your life, birthing promises that eyes have not seen. When heaven's clock strikes, acceleration overrides delay. You will accomplish in months what others labor for years to achieve. The hand of the Lord will cause things to align so seamlessly that it will be undeniable that it was God. Stay positioned in faith. Do not be moved by what you see, for timing is a matter of trust. Trust that God knows how to make all things beautiful in his time. Trust that every no was leading you to the right yes. Trust that every delay was divine strategy. Heaven's timing is not about speed, it's about significance. God is bringing you into a moment that carries eternal weight. A moment that will redefine your identity and confirm your calling. You are standing at the intersection of divine timing and divine destiny. The clock of heaven has struck your name, and the Spirit of the Lord is releasing what was promised. The angels assigned to your purpose have been dispatched. The atmosphere around you is shifting to accommodate your next level. Favor is finding you, resources are locating you, and people are being stirred to help you without knowing why. These are signs that heaven's timing is in motion. The invisible hand of God is rearranging details, removing obstacles, and establishing divine order. You are stepping into the flow of supernatural ease where heaven works on your behalf. And the struggle of the last season is giving way to the strength of a new one. The frustration is being exchanged for fulfillment. Heaven's timing is precise and purposeful. It arrives when you are ready, when the environment is ready, and when the assignment is ready. You are about to witness a divine convergence where preparation meets opportunity. Heaven has not forgotten you. It has been preparing you. Every prophecy, every promise, every prayer is converging in this moment. What once felt delayed is now divinely aligned. The wait is over and the manifestation is here. Heaven's timing has activated your earthly breakthrough. What was hidden is about to be revealed and rewarded. For too long, you have walked through seasons where your faithfulness was unseen, your obedience was uncelebrated, and your prayers seemed to echo in silence. But the God who sees in secret is about to reward you openly. Heaven has watched your consistency in the dark, your perseverance in pain, and your steadfastness when no one was watching. There were moments when you questioned if your labor was in vain, but God was recording every sacrifice, every act of faith, and every tear that watered the ground of your destiny. You were not forgotten. You were being prepared for unveiling. What looked like silence was divine concealment, because God hides what he values until the appointed time. The anointing on your life has been developing beneath the surface, like a seed breaking through the soil, unseen by the world, but nourished by heaven. There comes a time when the hidden must emerge, when what God has planted in obscurity begins to push through the surface into visibility. You are stepping into that season. The oil that was refined in private will now flow in public. The wisdom gained in pain will now become the foundation for leadership. The experiences that once felt like exile will now become the evidence of divine preparation. The Lord hid you to protect you from premature exposure, to guard you from environments that could not handle your potential. He shielded your process so that when you emerge, you will not just appear as another name among many, but as one who carries authentic authority, born of brokenness and shaped by obedience. There is a divine unveiling taking place in the spirit. Heaven is announcing your name in realms you have not yet entered. People you've never met are beginning to speak your name in rooms you haven't walked into. God is orchestrating introductions, opportunities, and platforms that align with your calling. The time of being hidden was necessary to prepare you for the weight of visibility. You cannot carry influence without integrity, and integrity is forged in hiddenness. You had to be unknown for a time so you could be made unshakable. You had to walk through obscurity so that when you are revealed, your character will sustain what your gift attracts. Every hidden thing carries the potential of revelation. Just as the seed must remain underground before it bears fruit, your hidden season has been producing roots deep enough to sustain your harvest. The deeper the root, the greater the fruit. The longer the concealment, the larger the manifestation. You were not buried, you were planted. And now the same God who allowed you to be planted is commanding you to grow, to rise, to be seen, to manifest. The light of God is shining upon you, and that which was once overlooked is now being highlighted. This is the hour of divine exposure, not for your glory, but for his. You have endured seasons where others received recognition while you remained unseen. You have watched others be celebrated while you labored quietly in faithfulness. Heaven saw it all. The Lord says, your season of hiddenness is ending because your faithfulness has reached the throne room. Every act of service, every prayer of surrender, every moment of perseverance has been stored as incense before him. And now the bowls are tipping over. The aroma of your obedience has reached heaven, and the time for divine reward has come. God is releasing favor that no man can manufacture. He is elevating you beyond merit, beyond status, beyond expectation, because your heart remained pure while you were hidden. When God reveals what he has hidden, he does it suddenly. One day, David was tending sheep in isolation. The next day, oil was poured upon his head. One day, Joseph was in a prison cell. The next day, he was ruling a nation. One day, Esther was an orphan. The next, she was crowned as queen. That is the rhythm of divine revelation, sudden, sovereign, and supernatural. When God says it is time No gatekeeper can stop the unveiling. The same ones who overlooked you will witness your elevation. The same people who counted you out will watch as heaven counts you in. You don't need to announce yourself because God is your announcer. The Holy Spirit is your publicist. The King of Kings is your promoter. The unveiling is not merely about visibility, but about purpose. When God reveals you, it is not to impress people, but to impact lives. Your story becomes a testimony. Your pain becomes a message. Your scars become a map for others to follow toward healing. What was hidden in you is about to bless nations. The ideas that have been gestating in your spirit are about to find expression. The gifts you suppressed because of fear or rejection are being reawakened by the breath of God. The assignments that were dormant are being activated. Heaven is breathing upon the work of your hands, causing it to prosper. You are about to see fruit where you once saw barrenness. The reward that is coming is not just material, it is spiritual, relational, and generational. God is rewarding your endurance with expansion. He is rewarding your faith with fulfillment. He is rewarding your intercession with manifestation. The hidden labor of your past is now becoming the public harvest of your future. Where you sowed in tears, you will now reap in joy. Where you endured in silence, you will now rejoice in abundance. Heaven is settling accounts in your favor. God is repaying what was lost, restoring what was stolen, and releasing what was delayed. Do not despise the season you've come from, for it was necessary. The hidden seasons built your resilience, shaped your humility, and deepened your dependence on God. Now that He is revealing you, you will carry the fragrance of intimacy, the authority of experience, and the authenticity that comes only from having walked with Him in secret. The people who encounter you now will not just hear words, they will feel the weight of heaven in your presence. The oil you carry will shift atmospheres because it was pressed out of private pain. Heaven's reward is never random. It is precise, intentional, and proportionate to your obedience. The greater the hiddenness, the greater the unveiling. The deeper the pain, the greater the glory. The longer the silence, the louder the testimony. What was hidden is about to speak for itself. God is putting your name in the mouths of kings, your work in the sight of nations, and your story in the hearts of those who need to see what faithfulness looks like. You will not have to strive to be seen. Heaven is doing the revealing. You will not have to demand recognition. Your results will announce you. Every moment you spent in hiding was a seed in the soil of destiny, and now the harvest is ready. The curtains of obscurity are lifting. The stage is set. The spotlight of divine favor is turning toward you. Heaven is revealing what it has been shaping in you all along, and every reward that was withheld is now being released. What was hidden is being revealed, and what was sown in faith is being rewarded. You are being positioned for prophetic fulfillment before November 15th. Every step you have taken, every battle you have fought, and every delay you have endured has been moving you toward a divine appointment that was written before time began. Nothing about your life is random. Every detail has been under divine orchestration. You may have thought you were walking in circles, but heaven has been guiding you through a strategic process of positioning. God has been shifting people around you, closing certain doors and opening others, not to confuse you, but to align you. You are being maneuvered into a place where prophecy meets manifestation, where the word that was spoken over your life begins to take form in the natural realm. The season you are entering is not accidental. It is intentional. It is the culmination of everything that has been spoken, prayed, and prepared for. Prophetic fulfillment requires divine positioning. You cannot receive what is meant for you if you are standing in the wrong place, entertaining the wrong voices, or attached to the wrong season. That is why God had to remove certain relationships, shift certain assignments, and rearrange certain priorities. What you lost was never meant to limit you. It was meant to liberate you for what's next. He has been pruning your life so that the fruit of your destiny can grow unhindered. Every separation was divine alignment in disguise. Every closed opportunity was God redirecting you to your place of manifestation. You were never forgotten. You were being refined for the moment heaven would say, now. Before prophetic fulfillment, there is always prophetic positioning. Abraham had to leave his homeland before he could inherit the promise. Joseph had to enter Egypt before his dream could come to pass. Ruth had to follow Naomi before she could meet Boaz. Each act of obedience brought them closer to the fulfillment of their prophetic word. So it is with you. Every decision you made to stay faithful, every time you obeyed the still small voice of God, every moment you chose surrender over control, it has all been aligning you for this divine moment. You are being ushered into a season where prophecy will no longer be potential. It will become performance. Heaven's calendar is shifting and the appointed time is near. Before November 15th, something is being activated in the spirit that will cause acceleration in your life. What took years to develop will begin to take shape within days. The word that once seemed distant will suddenly feel near. The promise that once seemed delayed will begin to manifest. You are standing on the edge of divine convergence where every loose end is being tied, every unanswered prayer is being fulfilled, and every hidden promise is being released. The Spirit of God is positioning you geographically, emotionally, spiritually, and relationally for prophetic manifestation. Even your location is being aligned for divine encounters. You are being placed exactly where heaven needs you to be so that the right people, resources, and timing can converge perfectly. This positioning is not just about promotion, it's about purpose. God is not merely elevating you to be seen, He is establishing you to make impact. You are being positioned in influence so that you can carry out kingdom assignments that will shift atmospheres and transform lives. Your voice will carry authority because it is backed by divine appointment. The same God who positioned Esther in the palace for such a time as this is positioning you in your sphere of influence. You are not stepping into this season by chance. You are stepping into it by calling. Every prophetic word that has hovered over your life is being pulled down into the earth realm because your time has come. The enemy fought you so hard in the last season because he saw the positioning before you did. He recognized the signs of movement, the shifts in the atmosphere, and the divine arrangements that signaled your elevation. That's why the warfare intensified, why confusion tried to cloud your mind, and why discouragement tried to drain your faith. But you endured, and because you endured, you have qualified for prophetic manifestation. The opposition was proof of your promotion. Every attack was an indicator that something in the unseen realm was being set in motion. Now heaven is announcing, the time is now. Prophetic fulfillment is not coming through striving, but through surrender. The doors that are opening will not require force. They will open because your name has been authorized in heaven. You don't have to chase opportunity. Opportunity is about to find you. You don't have to prove yourself. God's endorsement is your validation. You don't have to fear missing out. Everything assigned to your destiny will locate you because divine positioning ensures divine connection. Before November 15th, expect unusual encounters, unexpected favor, and undeniable confirmations that the word of the Lord is manifesting. Dreams will become clearer, instructions will become specific, and the inner witness of the Holy Spirit will guide your every move. The Holy Spirit is saying, get ready to move. Be sensitive to divine nudges. When heaven shifts you, it will often look like discomfort before it looks like destiny. Don't resist the movement, embrace it. Don't hold on to what God is releasing you from. It served its purpose. This next phase requires room for new people, new assignments, and new responsibilities. Prophetic fulfillment requires flexibility. You must be willing to transition, to pivot, and to walk by faith, even when you don't see the full picture. God will not show you every detail, but He will confirm every direction. Trust the leading of the Spirit, for He is guiding you into the manifestation of what has been promised. Before November 15th, there will be divine proof that the shift is real. Something will break open that seemed impossible. A door will open that was long shut. A promise you almost gave up on will suddenly come alive. The signs will not be subtle, they will be undeniable. Heaven is positioning you for visibility, opportunity, and influence. The prophetic words that once comforted you are now becoming your reality. You are moving from promise to possession, from declaration to demonstration, from waiting to walking. Everything you need for this next season is already prepared. The resources, connections, and confirmations are already set in place. All that is required is your readiness to respond when heaven calls your name. You are being positioned not only to receive, but also to reign, to represent the kingdom in new dimensions of authority. God is establishing your feet on solid ground so that nothing can shake what He is building through you. This is not a temporary elevation. It is a prophetic establishment. You are stepping into a new level of divine order where heaven and earth agree concerning your destiny. Before November 15, expect acceleration, alignment, and announcement. Heaven has scheduled your unveiling, and nothing can stop the manifestation of what was spoken. You're not waiting for prophecy anymore. Prophecy has been waiting for you to arrive at the right position. The angels assigned to your destiny are standing by with the scrolls of fulfillment, and the time of performance is here. The word of the Lord will not return void. You are being positioned for prophetic fulfillment, and the evidence will be undeniable.